Now CBS 2 brings you the top stories covering the corridor. It was the final trial day for an eastern Iowa man accused of murder, but it could be a while before we see a verdict.
Tajh Ross is charged with killing 19-year-old Latasha Roundtree back in September of 2012. In closing arguments today, both sides try to leave a lasting impression with the judge. CBS 2 News reporter Jason Hackett is live at the Linn County Courthouse with more. Jason.
Now, Ross faces 4 charges, including first-degree murder. That would come with a life sentence. Today was the last day to make a final impression for both sides, and Scott and Tiffany, both sides took full advantage of that.
He wanted to be the shooter, he wanted to have the gun, and he wanted to have control of it.
He didn't know what to do with that gun. He didn't want to set it down there for the fear somebody might use it.
It's the final appeal as prosecutor Nick Maybanks and public defender Doug Davis stand before the court on day 10 of the Ross trial. On the subject of threats to the party, the question lingered as to why no one called police.
Those threats were not taken to be serious at that time. You heard testimony throughout this case that no one took those threats to mean anything.
Maybanks fired back.
So you can't have both ways. You can't say that the threat wasn't taken seriously, and then in one sense, all of a sudden it was. That's not how this transpired.
The prosecution argues the shooting itself was no accident, as Ross aimed at Latasha's car.
Obviously, he was out to prove something because he interjected into somebody else's battle that night, when any other reasonable person would take an alternative course of action.
The defense says the gun accidentally went off as Ross was raising it in the air to scare away the slow-moving car.
He wanted to protect his body, Levon. And so he said, Levon, look out. Stop.
The reliability of the witnesses and co-defendants was also questioned again.
Where it matters, the witnesses corroborate each other, and where it matters, the witnesses corroborate the physical evidence.
The defense saw it another way.
They wanted to see what they could do to minimize their own involvement in this matter and to get the most favorable outcome.
Ultimately, Maybanks says the evidence and the intent are there.
We ask that the court find guilty verdicts on all 4 those counts.
And as Ross is led out of the courtroom, blowing a kiss at his supporters seated in the back, we'll have to wait and see if the judge agrees. So with this being a bench trial, it will be up to the judge, not a jury to render the verdict. And that can take anywhere from a few days to even a few weeks. It all depends on the judge's discretion. Also, it won't be read openly in court. Ross's attorneys elected to have it in private, so that decision will be released online. You can depend on us to bring that to you as soon as it becomes available. We're covering the corridor tonight in Cedar Rapids. Jason Hackett, CBS 2 News.
Thanks, Jason.